Hi everybody, it's Russ from My Hammers Alone, and I hope you're all safe and well. Glorious weather at the moment. But we're talking about West Ham. Obviously, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and clicking the icon, the bell icon, to be notified of any time we put new content on. Loads of great new guests coming up this week. And I always say it, but it really is. Lots of great guests, everyone giving their time very generously, including today's guest. You'd have seen him. He does his daily streams. They're lovely for like an hour and a half, just listening to him talk and questions coming in. JP WHU TV. It's John Phillips. Hi, John. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm all right. As you can see, I'm a little bit crisp, but other than that, I'm doing well.
Yeah,
how are you keeping?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Yeah, I mean, Boris told everyone to be careful. I know Gonzo got all sunburnt the other day and stuff, and everyone forgets the sun. It's like, what's this big orange thing in the clouds? It's like, I remember that.
About it, yeah.
I know. I can't go out because if I go out, I mean, I wasn't. You know, my wife gave me a Phil Mitchell haircut, so it's like I can't go out too much. Anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about West Ham, and obviously we're interviewing loads of different people all over the world. Lots of different ages about their memories of West Ham. Obviously, you know, sort of recalling them prosperity, shall we say, and finding out about their West Ham sort of 11 players they want to talk about. So for you, John, you know, what was your sort of your earliest memories of West Ham? How did you get into West Ham?
Oh, mate, it's going to be a long one, I'm afraid.
No worries.
For me, to try and put it in a nutshell, I was born into it.
Yeah.
I'm fourth generation of my supporter. My great-granddad used to work for Thames Iron Works, literally down the docks where Cunningtown Station now is.
My too, apparently, yeah. That's how I got into it.
So, and I was born, as we were talking about before, and I was born on the day that we beat Arsenal in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
So, my uncle, my granddad were at that day, at Wembley that day. My uncle went straight to the hospital after to see me. My granddad turned up the next day, so we can only say what he was doing that night. Cheeky little bugger. And he said apparently he said to Mum when he saw me lying in the cot in the hospital, he said he's an hammer, he's blowing bubbles. And so yeah, it's been in my family all of my life. But in terms of actual proper West Ham, it's only really been in the families in my memory since 2003, 4. Yeah, you know, my first proper exposure to it was the season when our first season down in the Championship, and you know, we got all the way to the playoff final and got beaten by Palace. Yeah. And I watched that game with a Palace fan as well, for that matter. So that wasn't entertaining. It wasn't exactly the best of days. That. But yeah, so that putting it into a nutshell, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's been around me ever since I was a kid. My grandparents used to live opposite Bobby Moore's uncle. So my mum and her brothers met Bobby a few times, just in passing, sort of like, hello, how are you, sort of thing. And Mum's got quite a few quite nice gentlemanly stories about him and that. But yeah, it's literally in the blood. I guarantee. If I cut me arms open, one arm would be claret and the other would be blue. It definitely would.
No, I tell you, and I think that's how I start. I mean, that's our family story. Is apparently, I don't know if it's true, but apparently some fourth generation or something like that was one of the coaches of Thames Ironworks, like the amateur team. Apparently, I don't know if it's true, but that's the story. But yeah, I'm the same as you. I didn't have a chance. And same as my daughter as well. She was meant to be due on the playoff final, the one against Blackpool. And she was born a couple of days later, thankfully. Otherwise, probably would have. I would have been straight away. But yeah. And then I think, she was about 3 days old, and I've got a picture of her in the playoff trophy. So she was mine. So it's like I managed to get in when they were doing the thing and got Eddie to let me do it. But yeah. Anyway, yeah. So since 2000, obviously, sort of not a great time to start when we obviously lost the Palace, and that song. I was there, and that song when they got glad all over. Oh, I still can't listen to that song because it really frustrates me. What sort of been your fond memories since then? So that wasn't a very happy memory, but must have been some fond ones.
Oh. This might be a little bit controversial, but it definitely is a fun one. It's the FA Cup final.
Yeah.
As painful as that day was, agreed. It was brilliant. Everything was just 30 second mistake, and everything else. You know, I'm not going to go into it. We've all had that debate many times, but you know, so definitely the FA Cup final. the interesting run out in the Europa League that season afterwards with the calamitous appearances of Tevez and Mascherano in that game.
Yes.
But more specifically, more recently, I'd probably say, I mean, I know it's a cliche, but the last day at the bowling ground, man, that was just. Yeah. But also at the same point, the first actual ever game at the London Stadium. I loved that when Feghouli made his debut in the Europa League qualifier. That was a brilliant. That was a brilliant game. That really cool day. There's loads, mate. To be honest,
with you. Loads. Yeah,
it's hard to narrow it down.
It is, but I think you're right in what you're saying. I think the last game and the first game. You know, I think they both had special things. I think the FA Cup final. I think just because you're so used to West Ham, particularly our age. I mean, you was born when I was born in 81. You was born in 80. You know, so we haven't seen West Ham, and to see West Ham at a cup final, which is bizarre. And when we took the lead and the whole thing around it, and the fact is we knew our way to Cardiff. We'd been there a couple of times in a row beforehand, so it was. And I can't remember who I was talking to. It might have been Lucy Walford or someone. We were talking about Wembley compared to Cardiff, and I controversially, it might have been actually Kate Longhurst, I think. I controversially prefer the Cardiff than Wembley because of the atmosphere on the outside, because Wembley's so sterile outside, really, isn't it? You've got Wembley Walk. Yeah. Cardiff, we took over that place. There was a Wetherspoons, I remember, where there was like a massive glass window, like a 2-foot window, like 2-floor window, and all you could just see was West Ham fans, and it was just awesome. Yeah. But you have to keep their memories, because obviously we haven't got any new ones at the moment because we've got no football. And we probably haven't had any for a while, to be honest. Right. Anyway, so what we're doing as well is we are talking to people, but they're Hammers 11. So 11 people, 11 players that they might have been important to them, might have been the best players you think have played in that position, maybe the shit and they didn't know it players. It doesn't really matter, but it's the players that are important to you. Few rules. One is we try and keep it to a 4-4-2. Second one is, well, I'm getting a little bit better at video editing because now I find out what never knew what a left half was, but interviewing all the older left half. Anyway, so we try it, but also you have to be alive to have seen him play. So obviously you and me, we couldn't put in Bobby Moore, or technically your mum met him, but you haven't met him. So you can't put in Bobby Moore, but you could put in Gary Breen, for example.
Yeah.
Seems a fair swap. And it's your 11, so you talk about whoever you want to, and that's the beauty of this. Lots of different people, lots of different stories, lots of different random players are coming up that I've forgotten as well. So it's quite fun. It's quite cathartic, really. Right. So who's going to go in goal for the JP 11 then? Who's between the sticks?
Mate, this was. I mean, every single position when anyone does it, it's just really difficult. There's loads of people you try and not leave out. My first go-to was Phil Parkes.
Yeah,
I love the bloke. Very close to putting in Shaka Hislop as well, for that matter. Very close to putting in Rob Green. Didn't want to. The thing that I've done with this lineup, there's only one player out of it that is currently still playing for West Ham. Everybody else, I tried to do a bit of a blend. And it was, and as a result of it, it was really bloody difficult to get almost 40 years worth of football into 11 people. You know, it was hard, it was tough. But I've gone with Ludok McCloskey. I mean, you can't grumble with that. It was just. He's a very funny bloke. Had the fortunate to talk to him at the one of the West Ham Way pre-match events.
Brilliant shows,
and just he is a legend, and he will say right from the start, whenever he sees any Hammers, he lives nowhere near Moscow. London is nearer to Moscow than where he came from.
Exactly.
But he was he just edges it over Shaka for me.
And what's really nice is there's loads of people have said Ludo, but everyone's got an individual reason. As you said, you spoke to him at the West Ham Way shows. I've got some of the guys from Scandinavian Hammers who he went. I think it was a players' evening he was going to or something like that, and he promised the Scandinavian fans that he'd turn up at the bowling when they were staying at the hotel, and he left the party early for the players' evening to come over and stayed and chatted to everyone for 2 hours. You know. He's an amazing man, and very, very fortunate to chat to him. And he's got a lovely family, and he used to play football against his son and stuff. But he was a good goalkeeper as well, Martin.
Yeah, very good.
Right. Okay, put Ludo in. All right, so Ludo's in. Who's going to go in? We'll go left back. JP.
Okay. again, it was very, very close to putting in Lampard Senior.
Yeah.
Very, very close. Because if you think about it more in the modern terms, we've had a real struggle with left backs.
Yeah.
Well, both wing back positions, really, technically. But I've gone for. Well, there's only one man that really springs to mind when you say left back, apart from Lampard Senior.
Vladimir Levant. Oh,
but no, for me, he just pops up straight away. You know, it was just again a lovely bloke. Really, I know he didn't show it on the field, hence his nickname, the Terminator. But
yes,
very talented footballer and just an absolute pleasure and a complete gentleman.
Yes, totally. Lovely guy as well. And as you said, you know, and we've said it before, and we'll say it again probably. There's not many left backs I can think of, not only for West Ham but globally, who can dictate a crowd and dictate a game from left back.
Yeah,
maybe Roberto Carlos, maybe, but you know what I mean. It's like he could galvanise a crowd from a left back position. It might be as you said, one of his naughty tackles. It could have been a 35 yard pinger into the top corner, or one of his penalties. You know, he just had this sort of West Hamness about him, and it was just like everyone sort of. He was just. I loved him as well. I thought he was brilliant. Right, okay, we'll put Julian on the left. Who's going to go on the other side? Who's going to go on the right back position? John,
the man that massively improved our own goal ratio when he left back in the early 2000s, Lucas Neal.
Yeah.
Again, right backs, very, very difficult to think of and try and narrow down. But we've had, again, it's been such a calamitous position. I mean, I was just for a laugh, I was going to put Joey O'Brien in because it was just, do you know what? When we got relegated, I went to one of the first pre-season games with Allardyce in charge, and we played Dagenham and Redbridge, and Joey was was on trial, should we say?
Yeah.
At right back, and he was impressive. I know it's Dagenham and Redbridge and it's a friendly, blah blah blah, but he looked brilliant.
Yeah.
And because I knew his face, I couldn't place him, but I knew his face.
And
I turned around to the girl I was seeing at the time, turned to her brother and said, "Who's that?" And he went, "That's Joey O'Brien." I said, "The midfielder, Joey O'Brien, is playing at right back."
Yeah.
But yeah, he was. He comes under a lot of criticism, and quite rightly so. But for a player that was centre mid, pretty much playing at right back, very, very lot of respect for him. Definitely. But yeah, it's Lucas, 100%.
Yeah, good captain. One of my top captains I've seen at West Ham. There's three, obviously, but he's in the top three. I think he was underestimated as a captain. I think because there was a period after he left where there was a bit of a void until arguably Kevin Nolan came in, who I think was probably one of our best captains I've seen in my lifetime. Just because he was just and only scored one Premier League goal for West Ham.
And with about 17 own goals, if I remember correctly.
Something like that,
I always used to joke with a friend of my mates when they used to see him in the lineup. So that's it. We're conceding at least one with Lucas in there, bless him. But
very similar to my best mate Tom Taylor. Who hate me for mentioning this, but he had for a while he was top goal scorer, own goal top goal scorer. I think he scored like 2 or 3 in a season, like literally after the week after. Sorry, Tom, by the way, because I know he's watching. He'll hate that. Okay, right. So we'll put Lucas on the right back position. Who are we going to have in the centres then? Who's going to be your first centre back then, John?
Oh, again, very, very difficult to narrow it down. But I just thought have a little bit of fire in the back because we've got a fiery left back, we've got a relatively fiery right back as well, for that matter. So it's Ginger Collins, and the very, very naughty boy Thomas Repka.
Oh, that's a tough back four. Bloody hell! They don't get much change out of that, I tell you.
And it's the back line we need in the Premier League, man. It's perfect for the Premier League, and it aggravates me we don't have that sort of quality at the minute. But
no, it's different now, isn't it? It seems like the Thomas Repkas of this world, and also GP for some. It's more about it was almost like when Rio was around, when Rio started for us, he would be, if he was playing now, do you know what I mean? Because he came as a ball playing, centre back and da. Now, Guardiola and Klopp, it's all about the ball playing centre backs and stuff, rather than the blockers, as I call, like the Thomas Repkas and GP. But that's a tough back four. I tell you what, if I was turning up as a striker, and I saw that, I've got Hammy.
Especially if you're a striker out on a 4-3-3 down the right hand side, you've got no chance getting through.
Love it, John. Right, okay, let's go midfield. Let's go left wing then. What have you got left wing?
Left wing. There's a player I didn't want to include.
Yeah.
Because I detest the man. I really detest the man. More specifically for his attitude at the latter stages of his West Ham career, such as it was. But I couldn't think of anybody better, really. Is Dimitri Payet.
Yeah. I agree. Technically, the best player I've seen play for West Ham. And hands down. You know, as I said to others, you know, how many... I can't think of any more Ballon d'Or nominees I've had playing for West Ham at the same time, you know.
That's true.
And as you said, if you look at it in isolation, you know, him in that last season, him, the right manager, the right management, he was an exceptional talent. And he's I mean, he appears in lots of people's 11s, but with the preface that I don't like the man, but when he played, he was great. And it's true. When he played for us, he was brilliant. But yeah, as you said, the way he finished. But, you know, you get that with these mercurial talents, don't you? They throw their toys out the pram. I mean, everyone forgets how he came to us. It's very similar. But we forgot that. No matter. But actually, he's doing it to us now, but don't matter. All right, we'll put Dimmy on the left rather. Who's going to go on the right then?
A man with equal talent and is very, very famous for probably one of the best assists of a goal in the world is Trevor Sinclair.
Yeah,
good shot. Those two down the wing would just it's practically Pornhub style football. It really is.
It'll be first the match of the day, that's for sure. Right, yeah, Trev, yeah, great shout. Yeah, and I agree. Yeah, he was on his day when he was. You know, I think the beginning particularly, he was mustard. And again, played for England when we was playing for us. There's, again, not many players who had an established English career while playing for West Ham. Obviously, Declan and Rob Green to some extent. But, he was awesome. And, you know, he forced his way into that England team, really, for that World Cup. Right, okay, put Trev in. Tricky Trev. Who are we going to have in midfield, John? Who's going to be your midfielders?
Now, there's only really two people that spring to mind first and foremost. But again, it was a struggle to leave players out like Trevor Brooking, and then also, you know, Billy Bonds as well for that matter, and even more up to date Alex Song. I know again he wasn't with us very well a long time,
Great
but
shout.
a beautiful player. And technically, you can argue this is a relegation midfield pairing, but it's Noble and Parker.
Yeah.
Again, those two would work brilliantly with the wingers. It would just be beautiful football.
Yeah, and both. I've said it before. I see parallels to the Noble Parker relationship as I see to the Noble Rice situation. You know, it's almost like. You know, I mean, we all know, Noble's legs looked like they were gone 2 years ago. And then Declan Rice comes in, does all the donkey work, and Noble is like this, you know, like mercurial player again. You know, he was like playing, and as I said, Scotty Parker, 3 times Hammer of the Year winner, was Football Writer Player of the Year the season we went down. When was the last time that happened? No, solid. And I think you're right. Them holding sort of defensive midfield positions allow Sinclair and Payet to bomb forward. I like that. All right, good start. Nice midfield. Right, okay, John, who's going to go up front for you? Who are we going for you as strikers?
I obviously got to do a shout out to the legend that is Carlton Cole. I know his playing ratio wasn't brilliant, but again, always put his heart on the line, made massive efforts. But for me, there's one player that we all hated to see end his career very, very soon, and a player that, technically speaking, lied to us, but was still a very, very good centre forward. It's Dean Ashton and Diamante.
Yeah. Oh, Diamante, love it. Yeah.
I know he wasn't with us for long, but I absolutely loved him.
Yeah.
Very close to put. It was either that or Demba Ba. Those two together were fantastic strike force. When I say about Diamante technically lying to us, because he did say the reason why we didn't keep him on was because apart from being relegated, was the fact that he said he couldn't settle in London. And yet randomly appeared for Watford a few seasons after that. So I don't know if that's true or not, but but no, I think those two together would have been an absolute strike force with that 9 behind them.
Definitely. But then after he left us, did he go to China? Did Diamante go to China or something like that eventually? I think went to Italy for a few.
Italy. There was China for a little bit, and then I think he came. I think he came from China to Watford, if I remember right. I think.
Yeah. So he couldn't settle in London, but he can send in Beijing, and then. Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it? It's funny that when money comes around. I totally agree with Dino. I think, he was a player that was, he could have been one of the greats, wouldn't he? I think he would have been in England. When that, during the sort of Rooney era, where Rooney needed a partner and they were trying lots of different people, it would have been Dino, wouldn't it, if he was around?
Yeah.
And he may not have been with us for many seasons after that, because I think he would have been, lauded by the bigger clubs. But Dino. So that is a strong team, John. We've got Ludo in goal, the strongest defence I think I've ever seen in terms of Dix, Repka, Ginger, and Lucas Neal. And then we've got Payet, Parker, Noble, Sinclair, Ashton, and Diamante up front. That is tasty. Diamante and Payet. I could just see that. That'd be awesome. John, it's been absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much. I don't want to take you, keep you from your tuna and sweet corn Tesco's pasta. It'll just get warm in this day.
Don't give my game away. Give my secrets. How dare you, son?
And Dr. Pepper. Other soft drinks are available. John, thanks so much. And obviously, thanks for you all to watching. Obviously, you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe. Subscribe to John's channel. It will be linked in the description below. Obviously, there's daily streams. Ask him any questions. They're brilliant. And obviously, you can follow them on Twitter as well, because they live stream on Twitter as well. And until next time, guys, take care. Stay safe. Bye-bye.